Hello everyone, and welcome. You are listening to Psychological Counseling, a place where we listen, we share, and we search for ways to untangle the knots of life. Each story sent to this program is not only a private concern, but also a mirror of everyday struggles that many of us may relate to. Through these gentle yet thoughtful conversations, we hope each listener will find comfort and perhaps a piece of advice that speaks to your own life.
Hello, counselor. I am now over 50. 10 years ago, my husband passed away, leaving me with 4 small children. During all those years, I carried everything alone. I was both mother and father, raising my children until they grew up. Now, they are adults, some working, some studying abroad. I also have my own house and a business that is stable. But instead of peace, I find myself facing another pain: harassment, coming from members of my own family.
Hello, first of all, let me say, you are a very strong woman. Raising 4 children alone until adulthood is something not everyone can do. But I also know, behind that strength, there are deep wounds. Can you share a little more with me?
Yes, there are times when my brother-in-law, and even my father-in-law, said or did things that made me feel humiliated. I tried to avoid them, to keep my distance. But inside, I still feel fear and deep hurt.
I am very sorry to hear that. And I want to make this clear right away. This is not your fault. Harassment, whether through words or actions, is wrong. It must be stopped. This is not something you should silently endure. It is something you must firmly protect yourself from.
But counselor, I still have to keep family ties, for the sake of my children, for peace in the family. I am afraid if I speak out, everything will explode. And my children will suffer.
I understand that fear, but silence means giving room for the behavior to continue. You need to set clear boundaries. For example, never be alone with them. Do not ask for favors if it is not necessary. And if harassment happens again, you can look them in the eyes and say, "I do not accept this. Stop right now." If they continue, you can say, "If you do not stop, I will tell the family." This firmness is not only for protection, it also tells them you are no longer vulnerable.
Listening to you makes me feel lighter. But there is something else. I am seeing a man. He is kind. He brings me comfort after so many lonely years. But when my children found out, they strongly objected. They said I was betraying their father. What should I do?
This is actually a very common situation. Children often want to keep their mother or father for themselves, especially when that parent has sacrificed everything for them. But please remember, you also have the right to be happy. Being 50 does not mean your heart no longer needs love, or that you no longer need companionship.
I think so too, but whenever my children say, "Mom, you don't need another man, we can take care of you," my heart softens.
Here is the truth. Your children can take care of your finances, but they cannot replace emotional support, or give you a partner to share your days with. You should share with your children, not just announce. Tell them, "I have given my whole life to you. Now that you are grown, I also need a companion, someone to share my joys and sorrows." At the same time, continue spending time with them. Show them that your love as a mother does not decrease. You are simply adding a person to your life, not replacing them.
Do you think my children will ever accept it?
At first, it may be difficult, but with time, things can change. If this man is truly sincere, if he loves and respects you, then allow your children to meet him naturally. Let them see his heart. Most important, you must stand firm. Your happiness belongs to you, and only you can decide it.
Hearing your words gives me strength. Perhaps it is time I start living for myself, not just for others.
Exactly. Life is like music. There are sad notes and joyful notes. You have lived through many heavy, sorrowful notes. Now, you deserve the melody of happiness. Love yourself. Be brave to step forward. And remember, your happiness will also give your children courage. I wish you courage and peace. And to all women listening, please remember, you deserve happiness. Sacrificing for family is noble, but living for yourself is the greatest gift you can give to life.
Hello, doctor. I just got married 2 months ago. My husband has a twin brother, and they look shockingly identical, from their face, to their gestures, to the way they act. Even their parents can't always tell them apart. On our wedding day in the countryside, everyone was drinking happily. I'm not good at drinking, so I only sipped a little. But the local wine was so strong, I ended up feeling dizzy and drunk. At that moment, I vaguely felt someone leading me into a room. When I opened my eyes, I saw my husband lying next to me. So I felt safe, and drifted off to sleep. The next morning, I woke up sore, and my husband wasn't there. A few minutes later, his brother walked out of the bathroom. I froze in shock. That's when I realized, the person who had brought me into the room last night wasn't my husband, but his twin. Panicked, I grabbed my phone. There was a message from my husband: "Go ahead and sleep first, I'll take Uncle home for a bit." That's when I knew, something had happened. Because when I woke up, I wasn't wearing anything. I think, in my drunken state, my body gave in, and I thought he was my husband. Now, I'm pregnant, but I don't know whose child it is. Since the two brothers look exactly the same, I believe that even when the baby is born, no one will ever know the truth. But I'm haunted. Every night, I dream about it. I don't know if I should confess to my husband or not. I'm terrified everything will collapse.
My story feels like a scene from a movie, but it's completely real. First of all, I am not promiscuous. This happened entirely beyond my control. This was an accident. The connection between my husband and me, it was nothing but an accident. They are identical twins, so even with a DNA test, the result would only show the same genetic match. You couldn't tell which of them is the father. If I, the person who lived through it, cannot be certain, then no one else can. Don't tell anyone. If I confess, it won't ease the burden, it will only weigh down an entire family line. My husband would be shattered, the brothers' relationship would be destroyed, and the whole family would become the subject of gossip. Keep this secret to yourself. Treat it as an accident and let it rest. The brother has been avoiding contact. That's a hopeful sign that he feels remorse and wants it to end. Focus on your health and the baby. Heal your heart, forgive yourself. This child is yours, and your husband's. That is the truth. Living as if nothing happened, carrying that quietness with you, in this case, is the best way to preserve the family's happiness.
Love knows no age, but for many people, especially women, middle age becomes an invisible barrier to seeking happiness. Let's listen to the story of a 50-year-old woman.
Uncle, I'm 50. I've been divorced for 6 years. Recently, a man in my poetry club approached me. He's polite, kind, and decent. But every time he invites me for coffee, I refuse. I'm afraid. When I look in the mirror, my hair has started to gray, my skin is wrinkled, my stomach no longer firm. I feel like a joke. I think, what man would want both the cow and the calf? The neighbors would laugh, saying, she's old, yet still hungry for love. I'm also afraid my children will object. That they won't want to share their mother with another man. One time, he texted me, "Are you avoiding me?" I stared at the message, and tears fell. I want to love, but the moment I imagine dating, I feel like a fool. Uncle, why is it that the older a woman gets, the more she feels she needs permission just to be moved by love?
I truly understand, and I feel compassion for you. But your way of thinking is outdated. Look around. There are many women in their 50s, even 60s, still finding partners, some even walking down the aisle again. Grandchildren holding their grandmother's wedding dress is no longer something rare. 50 is not the end. It is a new beginning. You've lived most of your life for your children, for your family. Now that your children are grown, you absolutely have the right to live for yourself. Don't look down on yourself. Remember the saying, every pot has its lid. If you're 50, your partner might be 55 or 60. He too has wrinkles. He too has gray hair. What matters is whether your hearts connect. That you can walk together, reminisce about the old days, share stories of hardship, and support each other through life's ups and downs. That's far more precious than living alone. Live for yourself, not for the eyes of others. If the neighbors laugh, let them laugh. They might laugh for a day, but they won't laugh for a lifetime. As for your children, open up to them sincerely. I need a companion. I still love you deeply, but I also need someone to share my days with. I believe your children will understand. So open your heart. Start with something simple, a coffee date. Love doesn't need permission. It is simply the natural stirring of the heart.